Take this overboard now.
Happy Tuesday, my loves. It's me, Keisha, aka Color Me Pynk, and I'm here with this week's All Tea, All Shade, Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 13, Episode 4 review. I drop videos Monday through Sunday. Everything that I say is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken seriously or literally. So if that works for you, then let's get into this review. But I do want to remind you crazy psychopath fans out there to state your opinions down below in the comment section. Don't come for me and my opinions on how I feel about this reality show, because it's just what? An opinion. We don't have to agree. We can disagree, honey. I'm just here to entertain, okay? Don't forget, the block is hot. The block is hot. Also, do not forget that I dropped the 2023 SAG Awards red carpet fashion killer video. It dropped today, so make sure you check that out, as well as my 2023 NAACP red carpet fashion killer video as well. Tomorrow I will have a come shop with me video. I vlogged myself going shopping at Marshall's, Ross, Burlington, Home Goods. I went there looking for things for my living room and my entryway, and I found some gems. So you guys do not want to miss that video tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time. Now let's get into tonight's video. Episode begins with Louis telling Teresa what happened the night before at the guys' night and how he brought up Joe not helping with the kids and how the girls were saying he wasn't there for them. And, he freaked out and was going off on Louis. And Teresa was like, I'm sorry you have to go through this. And I'm like, stop acting like Louis is just being tormented by all of this. And it's just such a burden on his life. Like, he wouldn't even have to deal with this if both of y'all will grow up. Then we go to Melissa and Joe at their new house is, still under construction. And he tells Melissa that Louis brought up the whole podcast situation. And Melissa was like, he wasn't even around then to even have an opinion on, what was said. And I agree, because you don't know. You weren't there. All you can do is go off of what Teresa tells you. And it's the same situation like over at Love and Marriage DC with the whole Sharella and Joy and Black and Clifton situation. Like, Clifton and Sharella weren't there, so they shouldn't even have an opinion on anything, because at the end of the day, you have Joy's side, you have Clifton's side, and you have the truth. And in this situation, you have Melissa and Joe and Teresa's sides and the truth. Louis was not there, so he doesn't even have, in my opinion, a right to even have anything to say on whether or not they were there for the girls and Teresa and Joe Giudice when Teresa was away. So, production then plays audio from the podcast, and exactly what was said from Melissa and Joe was, Melissa says, there was a point on this show where they were getting rid of everyone in the cast except for me. And that is true, because remember when Teresa went to jail, they really revamped the whole show. Melissa was the only OG that was, pretty much left. Jacqueline was gone. Dina was gone. Danielle was gone. Caroline was gone at this point. And then that's when they brought in Marge and Dolores and what was her name? Izzy, Sissy, the one lady, y'all know who I'm talking about. That one lady her. They had brought in a whole new cast of people when Teresa came home from school. So that was not a lie. So Joe was like on the podcast, Joe Giudice wasn't working at all either, so they had no income, which is true. He couldn't work because, they had gotten found guilty for, scamming and scheming and embezzling money or whatever they was doing. So he couldn't go to work because he got caught doing illegal things. So they did not have any money coming in outside of if they did this, spin-off reality show. And you have to remember at that time, they had all that restitution to pay back to the courts. So money was very scarce for them at that time. So that's not a lie. So Melissa on the podcast said, Teresa went to prison. The Teresa went to prison show was able to be made because Joe needed someone to film with, to bounce, ideas off, talk things out with, which was true. Who else was he going to talk to? He wasn't going to talk to Rosie and they cousin Kathy because they didn't fool with them. So who else was he going to film with outside of Melissa and Joe and Teresa's parents? But her mom was sick during that time. So present day, in her confessional, Melissa was like, what we were saying was when the family was down and you needed us, we stepped up. And I don't feel like that's wrong for them to say that, because they did step up and they were there for you and they were there for the girls and they were there for Joe. And now all of a sudden, all of these years later, now you and the girls are saying that they wasn't there for y'all. Y'all full of crap. I'm sorry. They really, truly are with it. Because once again, in my opinion, if the girls and Teresa honestly felt like Joe and Melissa wasn't there for them during that time, Teresa would have been screaming that from the high heavens from the moment she parted them prison doors. Girl, get out of here. You need more people. So Teresa and Louis go back inside and they sit down and continue their conversation. And Louis was like, Joe was upset that Melissa's family wasn't invited to the wedding. And Teresa was like, if I'm not close to Melissa, why would I be close to her family? But you are the same person that when you introduced Louis to your family, you introduced him to Melissa, Joe, and Melissa's family. So make it make sense, girl. Please make it make sense, because you're not making any sense right about now, Teresa. Just admit you fake and you use people when it's convenient for you. Just say that. I respect that more than anything. So even Louis says, because your father was around his mother-in-law. They were very close, and he's probably right about that. Even Louis was like, considering this woman was very close to your family, was there for your father after your mom died, what's the harm in inviting her to the wedding? And once again, like Melissa said, when you wanted to introduce him to your family, you introduced him to us and my family. Okay? So come on now, let's just keep it a buck. So Teresa was like, well, if that's the case, why didn't my brother invite your family to Antonia's Sweet 16? Girl, a wedding and a Sweet 16. Girl, shut up, dodo head. They don't even go together. Shut up, Teresa. So Joe in his confessional was like, since she got with Louis, I don't feel welcome. He was like, I don't feel welcome going over there. I just don't feel like I have a place in her life or whatever. But I don't even think that got anything to do with Louis. I just think that that's the dynamics of their relationship, period. I don't think that he's ever felt really comfortable around Teresa because she hasn't allowed him to feel comfortable, because you never know what Teresa you're going to get on what day. So Louis was like, I feel bad for Joe. I think he's in pain. And Teresa's like, well, he keeps on hurting me. Y'all keep hurting each other, to be honest with you. So Louis then suggested she call Joe and asks is he coming to their housewarming party. She's hesitant. She's scared to do it, but she calls. And he answered the phone. He kind of dry, like, what's up? What you want or whatever. Because he still hurt and he feels some type of way. And at this point, I feel like he's tired of trying to prove himself and his loyalty and love to somebody who does not give him the same in return. Once again, after she called that man a B at the last reunion, my hands was done with her after that. Like, she straight up humiliated her brother and talked to him like he was a regular Joe Schmo off the street. So I wouldn't have no energy for her neither. Like, girl, no. And then you let Jennifer, botch nose Jennifer, talk to your brother any type of way, don't have his back, but then you expect for everybody to have yours. Girl, get out of here with that foolishness. So, she calls and she's acting weird. She barely saying anything. And Louis has to then grab a notebook and write down what to say. So he writes down, do you want to make peace? Oh my God. Like, I swear Teresa needs to be the face of Hooked on Phonics because that lady is slow. So, Joe was like, I don't want to talk about the past. I just want to move forward. And Teresa's like, well, are you coming to my housewarming party? And he was like, I don't really know or whatever. So she was like, okay. She was like, well, I love you. And he was like, I love you too. Like, I'm not going to, he was like, he even said it in his confession, I'm not going to fake and front no more. Like, I just cannot do it. I'm not going to pretend like my feelings aren't hurt. Like, I'm not upset. I'm not going to fake the funk. And I don't blame him. You get tired of sweeping stuff under the rug and letting people just treat you any type of way. And at this point, Joe is done. And I don't want to hear nothing out of nobody's mouth blaming Melissa because this is not Melissa's problem. This is between Joe and Teresa. Always has been. Always has been. It ain't Melissa's fault. It ain't Joe Giudice's fault. And honestly, it ain't Louis' fault. It's Teresa and Joe's fault. Some weird crap happened between them, I feel like a long time ago, where I honestly feel like Teresa felt some type of way when he got with Melissa. I don't know if she low-key in love with her brother, but it's weird. Like, she has this like territorial thing going on when it come to him. And I think honestly, once he got with Melissa, that's when things got weird. I honestly feel that way. I really honestly do. Botched and Bill go out for a night out of town with each other. They go and have dinner. And Botched brings up getting their son a party bus for his prom. And Bill was like, you created a monster. Like, you spoiled these kids rotten. And Botched in her confessional gonna say, my kids have had a rough year because of what you did. So if my son wants a party bus for prom, I'm gonna get him one and you shouldn't have anything to say about it. Well, love, that's not how life works. When you decided to stay with him and work on y'all marriage, all of that holding stuff over his head and trying to make him suffer and feeling like, what you say go because he did this to you goes out the window, love. You the one decided to stay with him. If you don't want to be with him no more, leave the man. Because it seems like you're bitter and you're mad and you're not over the fact that he cheated on you. And that's okay. But you need to admit that. You honestly do. And you do spoil your kids. You do overcompensate for whatever is going on with you that you feel ain't good enough. But for him not to have an opinion on what's being spent on his children because he cheated, girl, get out of here. And I don't know what's up with this new hairstyle of Jen's, this Beyonce obsessed hairdo, but I don't like it at all. It's giving me wig. And she looks like a drowning puppy. I don't like it at all. No. So then she brings up not feeling like he has her back when she gets into it with the ladies, and that he takes her for granted because he knows that she'll always forgive him. And granted, he probably does take her for granted. I can see that. I can very well see that. But as far as having her back when it comes to the ladies, 9 times out of 10, in my opinion, Jen is wrong half the time. And just because we're married don't mean I need to back up nonsense. If I'm your person, if I'm your mate, I'm going to tell you when you're wrong. I'm not going to sugarcoat it just because we on a reality television and you up here acting a donkey. Girl, get out of here with that. No. So Bill was like, my feelings are hurt because I feel like you crap on me. I try to diffuse the situation, not for them, but for you. Because I'm like, girl, he doing you a favor because you make yourself look like an idiot every season. Every season you say something out of pocket, you do something out of pocket, and one day somebody gonna pop you in that mouth of yours. Okay? So Jen was like, but who you doing it for? He was like, I'm doing it for you. So Botch was like, but what if that's not what I want? Bill was like, do you want things only on your terms? And Botch gonna say, what would it kill you if you just gas me up sometime? Well, that's the problem. You living in a la-la land. You living in a fairy tale, girl. This is real life, okay? And ain't nobody just gonna agree with you for the sake of agreeing with you when you're 9 times out of 10 wrong. And the fact that you want that type of marriage says a lot. They are unhappy. She is unhappy. I honestly see why Bill cheated on her. She is insufferable. Insufferable, honey. They need to just go ahead and separate, because it's obvious that this marriage is down the tubes, honey. He has checked out. I said that like 2 seasons ago. Bill has checked out. He has rang the bell, honey. And Jennifer is bitter, upset, mad, and angry. She's not happy with her life. I don't think that she's happy with her life, because I don't think she's living the life that she wanted to live, based off the fact that she had to have this arranged marriage with this man, had to give up whatever life or career that she wanted to have, had all them kids with him, stuck in that ugly mausoleum she called a house, and he get to go out, do whatever he want to do, cheat on her, and there she is stuck with this horrible permed hair and a botched nose. I'll be mad too, child. Jen Fessler and Rachel get together and have lunch, and they have really became cool with each other. And this episode made me really like Jen Fessler. I love her dry personality, her dry sense of humor. I love that she was saying that, you know, she's envious of Rachel's body, and she was honest about the fact that she did used to be overweight. She has lost a lot of weight. She looks really, really good. I like her. She's funny. I want to see her utilized more. I feel like she's trying to figure out her place in this group, but I like her. I want to see more of her. And what really cracked me up is when Rachel was like, you want to share whatever they order. It was pizza or something. And she was like, no. No, I don't do that. I don't like that. I want it all. Like, she is a fat girl still at heart. And I'm like that too. I'm not sharing none of my food with you. Absolutely not. I'm about to eat all of this. This is going in my belly. So, they sit down and talk, and it's brought up how at the mozzarella party, Botched asks Rachel about her nose, asked did she have a nose job, and she was like, yeah, I had a nose job or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's why your nose is shaped like Pluto. Okay, no wonder. Yeah, your nose is botched too, love. She looks like one of the characters from Whoville. She does. But it's cute. It looks better on her than it does on Jen to me. I feel like Jen should have just left her nose alone. So obviously she was kind of like bothered by that, because it was kind of like rude. Like, you just asking me that in front of everybody. But she says that Botched ended up calling her after the fact and was like, you know, were you offended by what I said? You know, because I had a botched nose job and da-da-da-da-da. And she also says that Botched was talking about Dolores. And come to find out, Rachel is really cool with Frank and Frank's new girlfriend, Brittany. So she like, we not about to do that. Like, you're not about to talk about Dolores to me. Like, nah, I don't get down like that. Like, she didn't want to be involved in that at all. And I don't blame her. And they're like, you up here going around talking about people to these new girls, I guess trying to get them over to your side. Like, girl, grow up. Ain't you got like 13 kids around there at that house? You need to grab half of them and have them running around the pool because they obese. Oh, God. See, God got me, because God don't like ugly. And I shouldn't have been talking about them kids, child. But for real, like, you just got too much time on your hands because you're unhappy with life. So Jen Fessler was like, girl, she called me too, but was talking about Marge, saying Marge is jealous of her. And she was like, I don't know what she was thinking, but me and Marge been close friends for 3 years. Like, I'm not about to talk about her with you. Like, we're not doing that. So Rachel was like, you know, I don't want to have nothing to do with that or her. Like, they already got a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to Botched. Marge and Dolores get together and go plant shopping or something. So Dolores brings up that Frank told her about, you know, Joe being upset about the wedding and Teresa and Louis not inviting her, his in-laws. And Dolores is like, you know, I feel real bad. I'm going to call Melissa to see how he's doing. Even they think it's messed up. Even they think that it's wrong. Dolores even think that it's wrong. So they call Melissa, and Melissa was just talking about how upset Joey is. And they don't even understand why Melissa's family wasn't even invited. So Marge was like, is he going to go to the party? And Melissa was like, he doesn't want to go to the party, but there's a piece of me that wants him to go and hear her out and hear what she has to say and accept it. in his heart so they can move forward. So once again, I need for people to stop thinking that Melissa is the reason why they have issues. This ain't got nothing to do with that lady. She can't make him do nothing he don't want to do. And at the end of the day, she could care less, honestly, if he got a relationship with Teresa. But she still tries to connect them and get them to, squash their beef or whatever. It's the day of the housewarming, and Melissa's at the crib getting her makeup and stuff done. And Joe FaceTimes her and lets her know that he does not want to go. He just not into it. He don't want to do it. And he said that he texted Teresa and let her know that he was not coming. So Melissa, of course, is just like, dang, okay. She, however, decides to still go just to show that, we do support you. At least I'm here. And once again, she didn't have to do that. She could have stayed at home herself. My husband ain't going, I ain't going. But at least she still tried to go and show her face and show some support. So I will give that to Melissa. So then we switch over to Teresa and Louie's house. Teresa tells Louie, Gia, and Melania that Joe isn't coming. And the girls is kind of just like, okay, like that's messed up, but it is what it is. And they was like, we ain't seen him in a long time or whatever. And Teresa's like, he's missing milestones in my life. And I'm like, can you blame him? Like, what really bothers me about Teresa is that she acts like she's oblivious to the things that she said and done that have caused them to get in a place that they are in. Like, you badmouth him. You allow your children to badmouth him. You allow your friends to badmouth him. You allow your man to badmouth him. But yet and still, you want this blind loyalty from him when you don't give him any whatsoever. You have never seen Melissa and Joe kids on there talking crazy about Teresa, Joe Giudice, or their cousins. And she allows them little girls to say whatever they want to say about their uncle, about Melissa, and have allowed them little girls to be grown even when they weren't grown and they were still little girls and should have been minding a child's business and not grown folks' business. Danielle and her husband arrive. And she is blown away by the house, by the decor, by the entertainment. I just love her reaction because it's so genuine. Like, this some rich shit right there. Like, she be so like, oh my goodness. And I just like her personality because she's not faking and fronting. And so she gives Teresa her gift and she was like, there's a woman in your pool. Like, there's a woman in your pool. Like, she was just so geeked about everything. I really like this casting. I think this is like the best casting that I've seen on one of the Housewives shows in quite a long time. Jersey always particularly gets new casting right. I think the last show that got their casting right was Beverly Hills with Sutton and Garcelle. I'll say that much. I can't wait to see what New York and Atlanta is going to bring. But yeah, these three new girls, I can see being the new face and future of Jersey. I really honestly can. Marge tells Jackie and Dolores that Botched is so far up Jen Fessler's behind that she called her talking crap about her, saying that she was envious of her. And they looking like, envious of what? Like, huh? Like, please. So Jen and Rachel, we find out, had FaceTime Marge when they were at lunch and gave her the full tea. So Marge in her confession was like, you want all this attention because you're not getting any at home. And I was like, well, you hit the nail on the head with that one, Marge. Even though I do see this season how Marge be stirring the pot and be starting stuff with folks. So you ain't all the way innocent yourself, Marge. So Danielle peeps how the situation with her and her brother mirrors what's going on with Teresa and Joe. And she was like, once it gets to a certain point, it's like far gone because she hasn't spoken to her brother now in almost 2 years. And she can see the same thing happening with Teresa. And I'm like, girl, you don't even know what you bringing this stuff up with your brother, unless this was y'all plan, that them producers is reaching out to your brother and his wife immediately, and they will be on this show, and y'all will be the new Teresa and Joe. Mark my words. So if you didn't want your brother on this show, girl, you should have never brought that stuff up, because your family is about to be the new Teresa and Joe. Mark my words, for next season, her brother and his new wife will be on this show, and their family will be the new Melissa, Joe, and Teresa. Mark my words. So after that, we then see Dolores, Danielle, Rachel, and Marge talking. And Rachel says to Dolores that Paulie and Frank are never seem to be at the same place at the same time. And she was like, he told me like he misses you and y'all old dynamic. And Dolores is like, look, I have taken care of everybody in my life. I'm not doing that no more. Frank is not my man. Frank got a woman. Paulie is my man. He is my life now. And I'm going to do me, and I'm going to do what makes me happy. And I don't blame Dolores for that. Like, their situation was unconventional in the first place. But, I understand that this is a big, difference for Frank, but you're going to have to cut the purse strings, love, and move on with your life. You got a woman. You need to start building your life with her. Why are you living with Dolores' ex-boyfriend? That's weird. Like, I understand their dynamics are changing, but he got to let go. He honestly does. And I don't think that Dolores does have to coddle him in this situation, because we're grown and we're divorced. I'm not with you. You're not with me. You got a woman. You need to move on. Point blank and the period. But I do also think that Paulie is trying to mark his territory a little bit too hard, and he can simmer down on that. We then see Melissa have a very awkward conversation with Gia and Gabriella. And, Gabriella looked like she didn't even want to talk to her, to be honest with you. And Gia in her confession was like, every time my mom and Joe have drama, the kids automatically get separated. And Melissa in her confession was like, it's sad because I truly love the girls and I know that they have hate for us. And I blatantly remember Gia talking bad about Melissa throughout the years, saying she fake and da-da-da-da-da-da. Gabriella just learned how to talk, so she ain't really got much to say. But I could tell that it does hurt Melissa, because Melissa has tried throughout the years to have a relationship with them girls. But I think that Teresa has poisoned their minds against her. So she never really stood a chance, to be honest with you. And that whole conversation just was so cringy to watch. And it just, I honestly saw the hurt in her eyes. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I saw the hurt in Gia's eyes as well. Because I think now that Gia is getting older, she realizes that certain things probably weren't as deep as they really were, that she thought that they were. But it was just sad to see. Honestly, it really was. Louis and Teresa then make a speech. And Louis says, I want to thank everyone for coming to our home. It's not just our friends and family, but I want to thank everyone for being loving and supporting towards us. And Teresa was like, yeah, you guys are our chosen family. We would want anyone else here but you guys. And I was like, okay. Like, I felt like that you could take that two ways when she was like, you guys are our chosen family. Like, you could take that as her being shady, or you could take it as her just saying, y'all are our, family. We choose you all to be in our lives. You could take it any way. You know what I'm saying? But considering what's going on in her life personally, I can see how people would assume she was being shady. I can honestly see that. Like, I feel like what Marge says, you have to choose your words very carefully. And that was a messy comment to make. It really honestly was. So Bill was like, we miss you, Joe. Like, I was like, oh God, make it worse. So Marge was like, Melissa, that was a messed up thing to say. And she was like, it's okay or whatever. And Melissa gets emotional talking about Joe because she knows that he's hurting. And then for his sister to say, y'all are our chosen family, like, it really bothered her. And she gets upset and she goes into the bathroom and starts crying. And I don't think that Melissa was faking. I really honestly don't, because I think coming off of that awkward conversation that she had with Gia and Gabriella and not even knowing what to say to them girls, and then hearing Teresa say, y'all are my chosen family, I think that really did bother her. I really honestly did. And it's sad. It's so sad because these are real family members. This is not just something for reality TV. But I'll say this. I honestly think this should be Teresa's last season. I think that this should be Melissa and Joe's last season. I would like to see them usher themselves up off of this show. I would like to see Teresa have a spinoff. I honestly would. Teresa with her new life with Louis, her stepsons. You know, one of her stepsons has autism. I follow Melania on TikTok, and she's always with the brother that has autism and doing things with him, and she's just so sweet with him. And one thing that I'll say about Teresa's daughters, they're all beautiful, beautiful young girls. And I can honestly see them having a Kardashian type show. I think that it would be phenomenal. I think that would be a great show. I honestly do. I think that Teresa should bow out gracefully. She got her man. She got her new life. And start a new show with her family that's less drama filled, focusing on her and the girls, what the girls got going on, they love life, what they doing with their careers, their sisterhood, all of that stuff. I think that would be so dope. And let these new girls come in and be the new face of Jersey. What y'all think about that? Because I honestly feel like Danielle and her situation could be the whole new Teresa, Joe, and Melissa situation. But back to the story. So Melissa and Jackie are talking, and she tells Jackie that she told Danielle what Jackie said about her shorts looking like they were from the hamper. So silly. So Jackie was like, I'm not even mad because she is a horrible dresser and she wore those hamper shorts 2 weeks in a row. Why are you clocking what this girl is wearing so hard? Like, Jackie, I understand you got demoted, love, but you looking kind of foolish and desperate. Like, come on, son, you going out real bad. So Melissa was like, did you say something to her? And Jackie was like, F her. She's not significant to me. Like, you doing too much. That lady ain't did nothing to you for you to be talking greasy like that. And you look stupid, Jackie. You really honestly do. And I can see them not even bringing you back as a friend of the show next season because this is ridiculous and stupid. So Danielle overhears their conversation and she goes over to confront her. So she's like, is this appropriate? Does it look like it came out of a dirty hamper? And Jackie was like, well, right now you don't look like you're going to a pool party. However, I never looked you up and down. And I'm like, girl, do you not remember the fact that you admitted to Melissa and them that you did look her up and down? And then production shows you looking her up and down, sizing her up. So the fact that you lying, once again, makes you look crazy and makes you look dumb because you're lying. So Danielle gets to talking with her hands and this, that, and the third. And Jackie was like, leave your hands out of my face. And Danielle was like, well, this is how I talk. And Jackie was like, well, if the words I'm sorry can't leave your effing mouth, then F off. Like, you making a problem that ain't even a problem, Jackie, just so you can have a storyline. And I loved me some Jackie, but like, you just look like a clown. Like, you look goofy. Like, I'm just so, ugh. After she walks off, Jackie then goes to take some shots with Botched Face. And Marge sees them taking shots and like they're in the 4th grade talking to Jackie, why are you over here where she called you a snob? Like, Marge, you are like 90,000 years old. Like, oh, Lord, have several, please. You look ridiculous. So she was like, I mean, being called a snob is not that horrible. I mean, I kind of am. So Marge was like, but I'm very offended that she called Jen Fessler to complain about me. Okay, say that. Say that, okay, that you feel in some type of way. And also just admit that you don't want Jackie to be friends with Jen because y'all got issues. And it's just like, okay, girl, grow up. Grow up. Just because they took a shot with each other don't mean that they about to run off into the sunset with each other. Them two will never be friends like that, love. So calm down. Like, please. So, Botch was like, I called her about a marriage counselor. Marge was like, you said I was jealous of you. Botch was like, I said threatened. So Marge then calls Jen Fessler over. And of course, the other girls then come over. Rachel immediately jumps in and was like, but you did the same thing with me with Dolores. You called me after the mozzarella thing. And Dolores was like, you was talking about me? And Botch was like, I told you this was not for you to get involved in, just the history, you effing idiot. And Rachel was like, watch your effing mouth. And Botch was like, I felt bad about your terrible nose job. And Rachel was so taken aback, she didn't even know what to say with herself. I thought that Rachel was going to be able to get with Botch Face, but Botch Face ended up taking her down. And I was like, dang, Rachel, I thought you had it in you, girl, but she got you. So Rachel was like, it was something I didn't want to be a part of. And Botch was like, you want a medal? You want a medal? So at this point, Rachel is upset, honey. She decides that she needs to go. So as she's leaving out, Botch was like, keep it moving. Don't let the doorknob hit you on the way out. And Rachel was like, there's no door, a-hole. So Rachel's husband, as they were leaving, was like, you sure you want to leave? You don't want to check her? She was like, no, just come on. And I'm like, dang, girl, you just can't run. Like, you knew, like, you should have got with her and stood your ground and checked her, like your husband said. Like, you can't be letting Botch Face punk you. Like, because let me tell y'all something. Botch ain't met her match yet. I'm surprised Dolores ain't really got with her the way Dolores then got with other folks, because I done been smacked fire from Botched mouth and that nose, child. I would smack her so hard that nose would go back to the way it was, Lord. Because she played too much. She played too much. But tonight's episode of Jersey was A+. It was so much going on in this episode, honey, that this video is almost 40 minutes. So you know that it was a lot going down. So far, this season of Jersey is really, really good and living up to the hype. These ladies are getting their money's worth, and I am here for every single bit of it. Y'all tell me what y'all thought about tonight's episode down below in the comment section. You guys make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow to my vlog video where I go shopping for my home, and make sure you guys check out the new fashion killer videos that I dropped as well. I love you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.